Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So this video is about Companies Act 2013. जो भी CB ग्रेड ए की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं उनके उनको देखना चाहिए and though exam is not going to happen before January, but still इतना टाइम मिल रहा है तो प्रिपरेशन भी कंपटीशन होने वाला है बहुत ज़्यादा, तो प्रिपरेशन भी अच्छा होना चाहिए. सो मैं एक सीरीज स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ जिसमें मैं ऑलमोस्ट जितने भी सिलेबस है सीबी ग्रेड है के सारे को कवर करने का ट्राई करूँगी और स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ कंपनीज एक्ट से. सो बाकी बहुत सारे चैनल्स तो है ही, और जो भी मटेरियल्स देते हैं दे आर गोइंग टू चार्ज यू अ बॉम्ब. सो हाँ, उतना डिटेल में तो देना मुश्किल है, बट आई विल ट्राई टू गिव इट वेरी प्रिसाइजली. सो स्टार्ट करते हैं कंपनीज एक्ट 2013. सो लास्ट का एक तो बिगिनिंग से यही है कि कंपनीज एक्ट दिस हैज बीन अमेंडेड. पहले का जो था दैट वाज इन 1956. तो डिफरेंस क्या है कंपनीज एक्ट 1956 एंड 2013 में, दैट यस, दैट 1956 का जो था उसमें जो डेट ऑफ एंडिंग होता है फाइनेंशियल ईयर का वो कंपनी डिसाइड करती है, बट इन केस ऑफ 2013 इट हैज टू बी ऑन 31st मार्च. फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट का जो फॉर्मेट होता है इन 2013 कंपनीज एक्ट में, वो फॉलो करते हैं शेड्यूल 3, जो कि 1956 में वो फॉलो करते थे. मतलब 1950 अकॉर्डिंग टू कंपनीज एक्ट 1956 दे वर फॉलोइंग शेड्यूल 6. और जो मैक्सिमम शेयर होल्डर लिमिट है कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 में, दैट इज 200 एक्सक्लूडिंग ऑल द past and present employees. Whereas in case of Companies Act 2000, sorry, 1956, it's 50. And in the sense of any kind of this clause in article of association. Now, what is article of association? That is document that specifies the regulation for a company. जिसमें कंपनी के सारे रेगुलेशन जिसमें वो मेंशन किए रहते हैं, अगर वो एब्सेंट है कोई भी क्लॉज, तो इंटरेस्ट जो चार्ज रहता है इन कॉल ऑन अरियर्स. व्हाट इज कॉल इन अरियर्स? जो अलॉटमेंट के बाद जो भी पेमेंट बाकी रह जाता है, जो नहीं दिए रहते हैं, जो लोग पब्लिक्स में जो शेयर, जब कंपनी शेयर इशू करती है और वो लोग आफ्टर द अलॉटमेंट ऑफ शेयर वो पेमेंट नहीं हुआ रहता है, उसको कॉल इन अरियर अकाउंट में डाल दिया जाता है. एंड in 2030, according to Companies Act 2013, if there is uh, an absence of any kind of clause in article of association, then maximum interest that will be chargeable on call in arrears is 10%. Whereas in case of Companies Act 1956, it's 5% per annum. Okay, then moving on. So this is about chapter 3, prospectus and allotment of securities. So सेबी ग्रेड ए के जो सिलेबस में है वो सारे चैप्टर्स तो है नहीं, तो जितने भी है I'll try to cover all those. Chapter 3 is about prospectus and allotment of securities. So part 1 is section 23 to 41 that deals with public offer, and part 2 is section 42, this is private investment. So this is a brief overview. I have not written everything in detail like every section, and ज़रूरी भी उतना नहीं है कि उतना डिटेल में क्या जाना. Questions are going to be multiple choice questions, so stick to the main points. Section 23, इसमें मैं ज़्यादा एक्सप्लेन अभी नहीं कर रही हूँ बिकॉज MCQ से आपको बहुत कुछ पता चलेगा. Just go through the whole thing and I'll describe. I'll try to explain everything when we discuss about the MCQs. Okay. So public offer section 24 is deals with the power of SEBI to regulate issues and transfer of securities. So this so 23 to 41, as I have already said, is about public issue, and section 42 is private investment. Then MCQs. Okay. Before that, I'll explain some of the terms. Like in section 25, I've written about deemed prospectus. So what is deemed prospectus? So what is the meaning of deemed? Deemed is assumed, right? So deemed is any document, like deemed prospectus is any document containing all the information of securities for sale is called deemed. जो भी securities और for sale उसको offer किया जाने वाला है, उनके सारे इंफॉर्मेशन रहते हैं जिस डॉक्यूमेंट में, दैट इज कॉल्ड डीम्ड प्रोस्पेक्टस, और उसको कंपनी को इशू करना इज वेरी मैंडेटरी, उसको इशू करना रहता है. तो फिर आते हैं, इसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे सेक्शंस है जिसमें मिस ट्रीटमेंट इन प्रोस्पेक्टस, एज यू कैन सी इन सेक्शन 34 35 ये सब रहते हैं. 34 35 देन 36 ऑल्सो. 37 में रहता है कि एनी पर्सन हु हैज बीन विक्टिमाइज्ड he or she can complain under this section. So okay, continuing section 27, this variation in terms of contract or object in prospectus. So variation in terms of contract, जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कुछ स्पेसिफाई हो जाए उसको उसको बाद में चेंज करना रहता है, तो ऐसे ही कंपनी नहीं करती है. उसको एक जनरल मीटिंग में एक स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन के थ्रू उसको चेंज उस क्या चेंज करना रहता है उसको उस मीटिंग में बोलना रहता है. उसके बाद जब वो अप्रूव हो जाता है उसके बाद वो चेंज होता है. दैट इज वेरिएशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और ऑब्जेक्ट इन प्रोस्पेक्टस इज डन थ्रू जनरल मीटिंग बाय अ वे ऑफ स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन. So offer of sale of share by certain members of the company. Public offer of securities has to be in dematerialized form. Dematerialized, you know, this is not in physically जो hold नहीं किया जाता है, electronic form में वो सारे papers or anything related to that securities being hold. Section 30 is advertisement of prospectus is quite clear. I don't have to explain it much detail. Section 31 is self prospectus. So let me explain. There are 4 types of prospectus: deemed, self, red herring, and abridged. So deemed prospectus, as you have already seen in section 25, deemed is assumed. Just try to remember the meaning of the word. It will be very easier for you. Then is section 31 is self prospectus. So what do you mean by a self prospectus? A prospectus that is issued like at the first stage, and so that if the company wants to issue further securities later that year, it doesn't have to issue any further prospectus. And अगर कोई changes हुए हैं तो information memorandum will be sufficient. They don't have to issue another prospectus. So self prospectus is for something that you are going to issue further securities in the next future, and in the next yes, the validity of self prospectus is 1 year only. So in next 1 year, if you are going to further issue this securities, then just first instance you have to issue this prospectus, and further there is no need. And if you're doing any kind of changes, then information of memorandum will be sufficient. You can just mention everything, all kind of changes in that information of memorandum, and there is no need of further prospectus. Okay, then is red herring prospectus. So red herring prospectus is something that doesn't contain the full information about the securities. Like it's basically done for this book building process. अगर कोई भी सिक्योरिटी का एक वैलिड और फिजिबल प्राइस पाना हो तो रेड हरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस को पहले इशू किया जाता है। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि एक पता चल जाता है कि व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी द actual or like a feasible amount that they should charge for a securities before offering. So company proposing to make offer may issue this RHP, this rate hearing prospectus prior to the issue of prospectus and can file it with registrar at least 3 days before the opening of subscription list. So minimum 3 days के before उसको registrar के साथ उसको file करना ही रहता है, which is mandatory. And section 32 deals with rate hearing prospectus. So 31, 32, 33 is about prospectus, self prospectus, rate hearing, and abreast. So what do you mean? Then is section 33, it is abreast. So what do you mean by abreast prospectus? So abreast prospectus is something which is shortened form. Like if the volume of the prospectus, like all the information given by the company is like very huge, very large, and they're issued to the public for the public to comprehend what is there in written in the prospectus. So to make it easier for the public, they do summarize the whole thing and prepare a prospectus. This is the summary form of the this large volume prospectus is a brief prospectus that is shortened form. Then section 34, 35 deals with criminal liability and civil liability for mistreatment in prospectus. Section 36 is punishment for fraudulently inducing person to invest money. अगर किसी को fraud करके जबरदस्ती उससे invest किया जा रहा है, उसको force किया जा रहा है करने के लिए, then they are liable to get punished under this section. So section 37 है action by the affected person. जो भी person affected हुआ है, he can go to the tribunal and file a case against the company or individual who has done that under the section 34, 35, 36. So 34, 35 as I've already said is criminal liability and civil liability. So this is punishment for fraudulent. So and action 37 it includes all the before 3, 34, 35, 36 and a person who wants to complain can complain by under these sections. Section 38 is punishment for personification for acquisition of securities. As the phrase itself is sufficient enough to make you understand what I'm going to tell you, what this section is telling. So, any person who makes application in a fictitious name shall be liable for action under section 447 in section 38. So, any person who makes application in a fictitious name has to be punished by section 4 under 447. Then is section 39 deals with allotment of securities by the company. It's quite normal. I don't have to go into detail. The section 40 is securities to be dealt with in stock exchanges. So, well, this section is important, and yes, I forgot the section 39, an allotment of securities by the company. So, in case if there is any default, then the company and the involved officers they have to pay 1,000 rupees for each day till this default continues during the default continues or 1 lakh rupees whichever is less. So this is important. They may ask you this question: what is the amount they need to pay in case of default in allotment of securities by the company? So this is 1,000 or 1,000 per day till this default continues or 1 lakh whichever is less. Then is section 40 which deals with securities to be dealt with in stock exchange. So the money received by the company, actually the money when the subscriber pays the amount, the money goes into a separate bank account. So if a default is made in complying with the provision of section, the company shall be punishable. The company, company has to pay a fine of 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs, which makes 10 to 50 lakhs. And every officer involved, they also have to pay a fine of 50,000 to 1 lakh, and also punishable with imprisonment which may extend to 1 year. तो 1 साल का जेल हो सकता है, 50,000 से 3 लाख फाइन देना पड़ेगा, इट विल वेरी, और कंपनी को देना पड़ेगा 5 लाख to 50 lakhs इन केस ऑफ एनी डिफॉल्ट इन डीलिंग विद द सिक्योरिटीज। द मनी रिसीव होने के बाद जो भी अगर सिक्योरिटी को अलॉट नहीं किया गया या फिर कोई भी घोटाला हो गया, सो उसमें करना पड़ेगा। देन इज ग्लोबल डिपॉजिटरी रिसिप्ट्स। So section 41 is global depository receipts. What is global depository receipts? As you have also heard about ADR. So what is ADR and what is GDR? ADR is American Depository Receipt, whereas GDR is Global Depository Receipt. So what is a global? What does it mean? What is its significance? So GDR is a negotiable certificate that is issued by a depository bank in some other countries, and GDR is an instrument in which a company located in domestic country can raise foreign currency through GDR. They can issue their equity shares and in return they can raise foreign currency. So this is global depository receipts. So ADRs are they are listed in US stock exchanges, and GDRs they are mainly in Europe stock exchanges. So in mostly these GDRs are denominated in US dollar, and uh, so this any company, this according to this Companies Act 2013, any company who wants to issue or issue their shares in outside market, they can do that, but after this special resolution passed in a general meeting. So this is all about global depository receipts. Then comes private placement, section 40. So this is about, so there are some provisions of private placements, like it shall be made to selected groups whose number not exceeding 50, and private placement offer shall not carry any right or renunciation. Any company listed or unlisted, if makes an offer or enters in an agreement to allot securities to more than the prescribed numbers of person, like अगर 50 से ज़्यादा लोगों को वो एक कंपनी जो कि अलाउड नहीं है, अगर उन्होंने अलॉट किया, they shall be deemed to be an offer to public and shall be governed by section 3. So no fresh offer to be made until the previous one is abandoned or withdrawn. So any company making this offer shall allot its securities within 60 days from the date of receipt. जब रिसिप्ट हो रहा है, एप्लीकेशन मनी रिसिप्ट हो रहा है, उसके 60 डेज के अंदर ही उसको सिक्योरिटी को अलॉट करना होगा। जैसे अगर आपने if you gone through the whole this issuer process, these are mainly done in 4 stages, like share application, share allotment, first call and second. So इसमें यही बोला जा रहा है कि अगर इस शेयर एप्लीकेशन के टाइम अगर जैसे जब एक अमाउंट दिया रहता है, दिस इज मिनिमम 5% ऑफ द सिक्योरिटीज दैट द सब्सक्राइबर हैज टू पे, तो उसको जब वो कंपनी के अकाउंट में जो भी एक डिफरेंट अकाउंट में उसको उस पैसे को आता है, तो एट दिस वेरी मोमेंट after that the company needs to allot that securities to the corresponding or sorry respective subscriber, otherwise 60 days maximum 60 days के अंदर देना पड़ेगा, otherwise they have to pay a money, they have to repay the money with extra 12% interest. okay, which is the like kind. So yes, 12% as the compensation charges. So now comes MCQs. Like as I've given some 15 to 16 questions. Which sections of Chapter 3 Securities Act deals with public offering of securities? Which is answer is section 23 to 41. Which section of Companies Act 2013 states that the SAB has the power to regulate issues and transfer of securities? As I've already discussed in previous slides, so you can go through it. So these are MCQs for your practice. So if you like the video, please like it. If you don't like the video, that's fine. You can comment me. And yes, that's all. Thank you. I'll keep on providing further other subjects also. So yeah, thank you.